patients in general, CLL patients in general, live with this anxiety because they get diagnosed and then they're told by their physician that you don't need treatment. You look well, don't worry about this, go live your life as if you don't have this.
小部分是遗传引起的，大部分都是后天的环境因素的破坏，辐射啊、污染啊、食物啦，或者是空气啦，有污染的环境尽量要避免啦。工业污染，是这个空气，因为是有这个废气的污染啊，这接近很多辐射的这个情况呢，都会增加那个血癌。
Right now, the standard of care is still to watch and wait and to observe patients until they develop indications for therapy and symptoms from the disease, such as cytopenias, fatigue, the night sweats, growing lymph nodes, big spleens, etc. Things that show that the disease is active and you need to start to treat it before it gets kind of even worse. I think, throughout the world, really, we are moving away from chemotherapy as the first treatment choice. And so therefore, we are now getting to a point where we can kind of get the same benefits of chemo, which is basically a fixed duration where you don't need continual therapy forever with using BCL2 inhibitors, venetoclax, et cetera. And we're really looking towards now combinations of these drugs to induce very, very deep remissions, get the vast majority of 70+% of patients off of drug, and where many of them may be in remissions for many, many years. And it's possible that some patients might just need a round or two of targeted agent treatment. And I do think there's a chance that in the future, long term, with a single initial round of treatment of all of these new technologies and drugs that we have. This pandemic, goes without saying, has been difficult for physicians and patients and everyone throughout the world, obviously, but specifically for our CLL patients, it's been very difficult.
其实多去户外是好的，吸收那个新鲜的空气啊，运动啊，是对身体是好的，所以还是要鼓励要去，但是不要去那些人多啊，还是室内的地方太多。
Disease itself is inherently immunosuppressive. There is T cell defects that arise from the CLL cells kind of disrupting this immune synapse in the bodies. And so our CLL patients, much more so than even other lymphoma patients and definitely other solid tumor type of cancers, cause this very difficult immunosuppression that we battle. And obviously when you have a disease like COVID and the SARS virus causing this inflammatory state, and we've seen that early data has shown our CLL patients are at very high risk for poor outcomes and even death from this disease. From my standpoint, most patients, even with CLL, are eligible and I believe should be vaccinated. I think it's always wise, especially if you are on treatment, or you have a disease or any cancer in general, but specifically like CLL, that you do discuss with your oncologist about whether or not it is right for you and or the timing of that. There are sometimes patients might be in the middle of treatment we believe may really impair vaccination responses. And I think that's where a discussion with your oncologist, whether or not the timing to do it in a month or two, or stop the treatment, or give a pause in it, or just go ahead and do it. So I think those are the discussions that you need to have with your physician. For the most part, though, I think patients who haven't been treated with chemotherapy, who are otherwise on watch and wait, I expect them that they will do well with vaccination. They will respond nicely. I do believe the vast majority of patients with CLL will live normal life expectancies, and CLL will be kind of in the background, but we can deal with it. We will have new drugs. We'll have continual, great tolerated agents that work extremely well, and the future is very bright for our patients, fortunately.